All right, let's talk about something that could genuinely transform your business, a modern financial playbook. We're going to show you how mixing smart in-house leadership with strategic global outsourcing is way more than just a cost-cutting move. It's about setting yourself up for some serious growth.
So, let's get right to it with a question. Is your business growing so fast that your financial team just can't keep up? If that hits home, you know that sinking feeling of being swamped by daily tasks when you really should be looking ahead? That's exactly the problem we're going to solve today.
You see, you've hit what we call the growth dilemma, trying to stay financially solid in a world that's constantly changing. And the answer isn't just hiring more people. No, it's a much smarter two-part strategy. You need the right leadership at home and the right global partners to back you up.
So where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with leadership. The whole foundation of your financial strategy really comes down to understanding one crucial difference, the difference between an accounting manager and a controller.
You know, these two roles get mixed up all the time, but they do completely different things. Think of your accounting manager as the expert on the ground, handling that day-to-day grind of ledgers and reconciliations. The controller, on the other hand, is flying at 30,000 feet. They're looking at the big picture, compliance, accuracy, and most importantly, turning all that raw data into real insights that help you make big decisions.
And here's probably the best way I've ever heard it put. Controllers turn numbers into narratives. They're not just telling you what happened last month, they're telling you the story of how your business is doing right now and helping you figure out where it's going next. It's a total game changer.
So look, the key here is that it's not about choosing one over the other. You absolutely need both. You need that pinpoint precision from the manager, taking care of the daily details, and you need that strategic foresight from the controller looking at the horizon. When you have both, you get this perfect balance, a really powerful financial foundation. Okay, so once you've got your internal leadership locked in, what's next? Let's talk about the second piece of the puzzle, what we call the global efficiency engine. This is where we start to think about outsourcing not as a last resort, but as a real strategy for growth.
And this requires a huge shift in how you think about things. For years, outsourcing was seen as, a backup plan, maybe a way to save a few bucks. But today, for the smartest and most agile companies out there, it's become a core part of how they compete and how they scale up.
So you might be wondering, why India specifically? Well, it boils down to a few massive advantages. First, you get access to this incredible pool of talented professionals who are already skilled in global standards like GAAP and IFRS. Then there's the time zone difference, which creates this amazing 24/7 work cycle. Work is literally getting done while your team in the US is asleep. That means faster turnarounds, and it lets you scale your team up or down whenever you need to without all the headaches of hiring.
Now that's great for a general business, but what if you're running a CPA or audit firm? Well, things get even more interesting with what we're calling next-level partnerships. These are some pretty advanced strategies for firms that are really serious about growth.
First up is white label accounting. The concept is honestly brilliant in its simplicity. Your firm still owns the client relationship. You're the one they talk to. But in the background, a trusted partner handles all the heavy lifting, the bookkeeping, the tax prep, all of it under your company's brand. Your clients have no idea, but you've just massively increased what you can handle. And the benefits? They're pretty obvious. Firms are doing this to expand the services they can offer and, of course, to improve their profit margins. But just as important, it lets them keep complete control over their brand and, you guessed it, hit those tight deadlines way faster. It's a win-win all around. But it gets even better. There's an even more powerful model called synergistic audit partnerships. And listen, this isn't just about handing off tasks. We're talking about true collaboration here. You're blending your firm's deep knowledge of US regulations with the incredible technical skills of a team in India. The result is a totally seamless and super efficient audit process.
And the results really do speak for themselves. This kind of partnership leads to real, tangible wins. Audit timelines get shorter, operational costs drop, and because the work gets done faster and more accurately, your clients are happier. It's how mid-sized firms can start to compete with the big dogs.
All right, so we've covered strong leadership inside your company and super efficient partners on the outside. Now, let's put it all together into what is, really, the ultimate hybrid model. This is where you get the best of both worlds, in-house strategic control with outsourced operational efficiency.
So how do you actually make this happen? It's a pretty straightforward three-step transformation. First, you set your in-house controller free to focus only on the high-value stuff, like forecasting and planning. Second, you offload all that tactical, time-sucking work, reconciliations, data entry, to an expert offshore team, and that's when the magic happens. Step 3, you unlock a whole new level of accuracy, transparency, and scalability for your entire business.
Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like. Imagine your best people, your internal team, are no longer bogged down in the daily grind of transactional tasks. All of a sudden, they have the time and the brainpower to focus on what really moves the needle: strategic cash flow and planning for the future. That's the real-world power of this model.
And I really want to land this point. What we're talking about here isn't just delegating tasks to someone else. It's a fundamental transformation of how your finance team works and the value it delivers to your whole company.
So this all brings us to your new financial playbook. After everything we've covered, from leadership to global partners, what's the one big idea you should walk away with?
It's this right here. Your accounting doesn't need to stay local, it needs to stay smart. The goal isn't just to keep everything under one roof. The goal is to build a financial operation that's agile, strategic, and smart enough to use the best talent in the world, no matter where they are.
And that really only leaves one final question for you to think about. Is your financial playbook ready for what's next?